We've got for you on today's show, we've got stacks more, so let's get on with it.
Coming up first, we're going to meet some animals that have been causing a huge amount of damage to their enclosure in Port Lim. They're not elephants, rhinos or gorillas, they're little hooligans. And the keepers need to find a way of distracting them from their damaging instincts. The animal we're talking about lives in this enclosure, but before we reveal what it is, Keeper Simon Jeffrey is going to show us what measures the park has to take to ensure these vandals don't ransack the place.
So today we're going to look at one of the most destructive animals in my section, and it's not a monkey. As you can see, we've had to design a cage specifically for it to stop it actually destroying things. We've got things like this around the tree, where had to put cages around to make sure they don't eat the trees. And if you go down to the floor, look what we've got here is we've got mesh to make sure that they don't dig out. And on this side of the cage, it's all around the edges. We've got electric wire. This is so they can't climb up the fence, and it goes all the way around. And as you can see down on the ground, that's the kind of damage they can do, where they've been digging here at the roots, and then where they've been eating the tree as well underneath the mesh. So I guess you're wondering what kind of animal this is. Well, follow me. And here they are, porcupines.
The destructive crested porcupines are a very adaptable species, and their burrows can be found in mountains, deserts and forests all over Africa, and even as far north as southern Italy. And throughout their range, they're notorious for their damaging chewing habits.
Porcupines, being a rodent, have to chew constantly because their teeth grow constantly, and they have to keep grinding them down all the time, and they have to chew an awful lot to make sure that they keep them at a decent level.
So we now know why they have to keep chewing, but what do they prefer to get their teeth into?
Well, in the wild, porcupines would eat all sorts of things. They'd eat sort of chew at trees and bark and wood. They'd also eat sort of vegetables and fruits if they came across it. They've been known to eat bones as well. If they come across carrion or bones, they'd eat them as well in the wild.
The crested porcupine may be the largest rodent in Africa, but it's so much more than just a giant rat. Nature has made them the punks of the animal kingdom. Their hair has evolved into very antisocial hollow spikes called quills. Quills are the perfect defense against would-be predators like leopards and pythons. Nothing wants to swallow a pincushion. Porcupines can also make an extraordinary warning noise by vibrating their quills. It's surprisingly loud and sounds like someone starting a motorcycle. And if people don't heed their warnings, they'll turn round and bare their quills. Look out, Simon. These animal punks are common in the wild, look very cool and aren't scared of anyone. But visitors to the park will be lucky to spot them.
Unfortunately, they probably don't actually get to see them that often. These are mainly nocturnal, so they're barely out, hardly ever. So it's really good at the moment to be able to see them at all.
In order to look after the porcupine's teeth and stop them damaging their enclosure, it's important for the keepers to give the porcupines objects to gnaw on. But what would be the best things? Simon's got an idea.
I mean, what we can do, we can set up an experiment. We can set a camera to record all night, and then we can put lots of different objects in there for them to chew. I'm going to do it now.
Simon's certainly given them a good selection of gnawing objects. There's bricks, wood, deer antlers, in fact, everything in there bar the kitchen sink. There's even a concrete block.
Well, the situation is it's starting to get darker now. We've set out all our objects. We've got our concrete block, our antlers, our bits of wood, our rake and our bricks. So we can actually watch the porcupines, hopefully tonight, and then we can actually see exactly what they're going to chew. And we've got the night vision camera here. It's all ready to go. So hopefully they'll come out tonight. We'll see exactly which one they like the best, and we'll see how far they can get through them as well. So I'm going to go up to the surveillance room now and see what happens.
As Simon heads off to the surveillance room, the nocturnal punk rock rodents go for a rest in their dressing room ahead of tonight's performance. Will they come out again and chew bricks, antlers or the concrete block? We'll find out later on.
While Simon's finding out what nibbles the porcupines like best, I'm off to Howlett's to give the rhinos something they love. I'm in the black rhino paddock with head of the section, Joel Bunce, and he's asked me to come and help him with a bit of gardening, but this is pretty heavy work you've got me doing here, Joel.
Yeah.
What's the big idea?
We're just going to put a large hawthorn branch in to make it look like a tree, just for a bit of behaviour enrichment for the rhinos.
Well, we've done a couple here already.
Yep.
And what's the big idea? Why are you doing this? Because they're not going to grow, are they?
No, they're not going to grow. I mean, it's just easier. It's a bit more interesting than just putting branch on the ground for the rhinos to eat. They'll get to push it over, they'll get to browse properly, you know, reach up and take food that way.
OK, shall we try and plant this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So this is, what did you say? What kind of tree?
Hawthorn.
Now, hawthorn's a very spiky tree, isn't it?
It is indeed. It'd be very similar to what they would eat in the wild.
If you hold that, shall I wedge it in with the
Yep.
brick? So how can they cope with the thorns? Because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
pretty substantial spikes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they've got exceptionally thick lips, the rhinos, so they won't even feel them.
So eating branches like this, thorny or otherwise, is the kind of thing that they do in the wild.
Yeah, they're completely browsers, so they'll eat all manner of trees and shrubs.
Do they eat grass as well?
They will, given the opportunity. They do here, but most of the time in the wild, they'll be completely browsers.
What are you anticipating is going to happen in here? Do you think they're going to try and eat it as it stands, or will they attempt to knock it down?
Who knows? We've got 3, so they might all react differently. They've got 1 each, so we have to see who does what.
Have you given them 1 each because otherwise they might squabble?
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't share one.
Would they not?
No, not at all. We have to give them 1 each.
The one we've got here is not too tall, 2 or 3 feet, but the others are quite tall. Just how high can they reach?
They'll be able to reach up about 5-6 feet. I mean, they will stand on things sometimes to get a bit of extra height, but the chances are that when they've got all that they can reach, they'll probably push it over anyway and get the rest.
Will they do that by standing on it, or is it just...
They'll use
lean?
any part of their body they feel necessary to push it down. So.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Well, that's pretty well packed in. A couple more shovels full. So join us later in the show when we'll be letting the rhino out and seeing what they make of their new trees.
What kind of fish can play music? A tuna fish.
What do you call a dog with no tail?
I don't know, you Miller.
A hot dog.
What's King Kong's favourite football team? Aston Gorillas.
Earlier in the series, we found out that the 2 Iberian wolves at Howlett's had given birth to 3 pups. Iberian wolves come from Spain and Portugal. They're incredibly rare and also very shy. Howlett's is the only wildlife park in Britain to keep any, and even the keepers hardly ever get to see them. But today, everyone's excited down in the carnivore section, because the vet's going to give the wolf pups their first jabs. It's going to be the first chance any of us will have had to get close to them. I'm heading down to take a look. The keepers have just completed the tricky job of separating the pups from the adult wolves. It's obvious the pups are anxious to get back to their parents, so the team has to be quick. Head keeper Jim Vassey and vet Jane Hopper fill me in on what's happening next.
We're going to give the pups a health check. We're going to give them a vaccine, a microchip with this, and then worm them, and give them a flea treatment, weigh them, check they're all okay, and then put them back. And that will have to happen very quickly.
It's a big old job, and you say you've got to do it quickly. Is that because we don't want to distress them?
Yeah, we just want to have as contact with them as little as possible, and then get them back with mum.
OK, Jim, what's the next plan now? Because I don't think you're just going to be able to grab them one by one, are you?
Well, we are, but we're going to use this net.
It's a big old net, isn't it? Check this out. Have you ever seen anything like it? Because they're actually quite big. For 10 weeks old, I thought they'd be little things.
So did I.
So it's a shock to us all.
Yeah.
OK, we don't want to keep you, Jim, so if you want to crack on and
Yep.
do your business,
Will
and
do.
you've got your guys as well to help you.
Yeah.
Jane, will you stay with me?
Yeah, I will stay with you, that's fine.
All right then, boys.
Now, do they look pretty healthy to you from here?
Yeah, they're looking great. They're running around like mad, trying to dig, doing all the right things.
So have you ever come close to them before?
No, I've only seen them from a distance, so it's very exciting, you know.
Absolutely amazing.
I think
Look at
we're all
them
very
running
lucky.
around. Now, I don't think they want to go into that net, Jim.
No, they're not.
See, when he comes back, he's going to say, oh, it was really easy. It's obviously not.
Oh, look, they think they've got one. Oh, look, Ben's
Oh, look, Ben's gone straight for it. Right, we have to be quite careful here. We're going to go down. They've caught a pup already. Watch your step. In he is. Huge thing.
All right, he's got the scanner.
Jane, what was the first thing you did?
We just put a little microchip in, and you can see he's already got his little individual number now. He's
Should I
beeping
put
nicely.
my foot on this?
That's
Do I
great.
help?
Thank you very much. Now we're going to give him his vaccine.
So what's the vaccine for again?
It's against all the things you get your pet dog vaccinated for distemper, kennel cough, things like that.
How's his fur feel, Jim?
Yeah, remarkably soft, considering, you know. Thought it might be a bit rougher than that, but
Now what's this spray?
This spray is against fleas and ticks and all kinds of things you could pick up because he's in a woodland.
He looks quite nervous. Is this the first time away from Mum, Jim?
first time away from home and first time it's been caught.
Mark, how do you feel? It's the first time coming up so close to your animals.
Okay, right, now he's going to have a wormer first in his mouth.
It's big, but yeah, it's good looking.
Obviously you're feeding him well, looking after him.
Yeah, either that or they're just eating all Mum's food.
What's that, Jane?
That's fine. It's a wormer.
Can you not just put that inside food?
It's just difficult to make sure that each one gets the correct amount. So if you squirt it in their mouth, that's very good. But we've just got to convince him now to swallow and not spit it out. You're a beautiful thing, aren't you, hey? Let's have a little swallow. You do a little swallow? Right, shall I just feel its tummy and make sure it's healthy?
And what are you checking for now?
Just feeling his tummy's all right, doesn't have any funny lumps or bumps. We'll check his eyes. Pretty good, I think.
So this is a whole new experience for you as well, Jane, because you've never been up close before.
No, not to these. That's very nice. He looks incredibly healthy. Should we have a look, see if it's a girl or a boy?
Well, we can either...
Steak knives, concussion and teas made.